G'day everyone, welcome to the first part of the TT02 build. Okay, starting with the manual. Step one for this build is basically determining what configuration your chassis will be in. There's regular length, there's short length, high and low for the suspension setting, and then normal and wide. So how you find this out for your car, if you're not sure, which most are the standard chassis, the standard configuration, they'll sort of say on the box normally if it's a wide or a short. But on your body instructions, at the very top here, this body features the wheelbase of 257. When you go back to your manual, it'll tell you standard is the 257, short is 251. So that's the first thing. Then you have to decide if you want to do standard ground clearance or the high ground clearance. Now, from running a few of these cars, all I'll say is unless you're going to be running on a perfectly flat racetrack, use the high setting. Even though they suggest this for rally, it basically makes it closer to a standard height for a car. This is really low. So if you're running on a perfectly flat surface, perfectly flat ground, or a racetrack where it's going to be, you want it to be low, go for this. Otherwise, I would really suggest doing this from the start. And you can always change it very easily. It's just a few screws to swap it over. So it's not like it's the end of the world. Give this a try if you want at the start. But you'll find if you're running on an uneven surface, on footpaths, on a road, something like that, unless it's perfectly smooth, you'll quickly find that this will find every little bump and rut and throw the car around. This will give you just a little bit more clearance. And same with the wide. It's only going to be the cars that say they're a wide version, or you can see the rear end. It's generally the rear that's wide, like on the Porsches. Some of the Porsches have a much wider rear end than the front. That's where you'd use this, otherwise it'll just be the standard configuration. And then we go up here. Step two is charging your battery, which I use LiPos generally, so they're always in at least storage mode, so I'm not going to worry about that now, but it's up to you when you want to charge your battery. So before we get on, the first build of this video will be step three, where we do the spur gear. But before that, I'm just going to quickly go over what else is needed for this kit. And one thing I did miss when I was showing the body, it wasn't until I looked at the footage when I was editing. This is the first one I've had from Tamiya that's got the pre-cut arches. So quite happy about that, because that's always one of my least favorite parts of doing a body, is cutting the wheel arches nice and even. Always tend to slightly muck it up. Well, for me it looks like it's mucked up. It's good enough, but to have that is a major bonus. The other things we'll need for this car is some sort of servo. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this one in, or if I'm going to put an old one out of a ready to run from years ago. I'll see if it works. But you need a servo. You also need a speed controller. This is a Tamiya one I've still got from an older kit where I threw something else in. I might start with this one, and we'll see how we'll go later. Also need your radio and a receiver. I've been using these FlySkys quite a long time, got a lot of them, so that'll do. As I said, the only thing I will be throwing in this car from the start is ball bearings, because I do plan on running it. This is actually two sets for two of them, so I have to get another set for the on-road car. The buggy came with a set, so I've already got them sorted out. So those bearings will replace these bushings that come in the kit. As I said, you can use these, make sure you use lots of grease, and they'll work for, quite a while, but eventually they will wear out. If you're going to run it multiple times, get these. some sort of bearings. Tools, need the screwdrivers, the large and the small. Need some side cutters, some sort of hobby knife, and I'm sure there'll be a pair of pliers needed somewhere along the way. I've also got all my old grease tubes here, ready to finish them off and leave the new one sealed for when I do need it. And you will need a 1.5, as I said, they do give you one in the kit, along with the box wrench that'll do your wheel nuts. I've got my Tamiya multi-tool set here for when those things are needed, especially for that pinion gear, because while the Allen key will do the job, I prefer having a proper tool. So that's it for the introduction to the manual. As I said, next video we'll be back with the first actual build step, which will be step 3, the spur gear. If you want to see that, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.